She'll let them sell in her house.
Everybody, if we'd like to call this meeting in the Southbury Planning Commission order. January 18, 2024, room 208. Everybody can join the Pledge of Allegiance with us. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll see Bob Scarlett as well, signing with us. First order of business, continuation of public hearing, special exception, temporary soil extraction application 1416 Southford Road. Any volunteers from your end, anything you want to address the commissioner?
I'm the owner, Andrew Navy, here to
Yep.
represent the request. Should I make a small presentation?
Sure.
Okay.
Kind of update us from where we were last month. That would help.
Yeah, wherever you're comfortable, Andy.
Yep.
I brought a map this time. I was unprepared for the last meeting. I was unprepared. I just want to have, I don't know how I could present this without an easel, but the only material that's left on the project is this is Southford.
Yeah.
This is Southford Plaza in this area. On that side is Route 67. The only material I'm asking to remove is the balance of the material in this area right here that's highlighted. That's the 3,000 yards. And I'm going to grade this grade somewhat level with the parking lot of Southford Plaza. So it's just a big peak of rock that's already blasted. There's no further blasting to be done. Nothing going toward Burma Road, only the rock that's blasted, that's left to be hauled away, going toward the Southford Plaza. That's all that's going to be done. No further blasting, no further excavation in any other area other than that. I've obtained sloping rights, grading rights from the property owner. I don't know if you need to see that, but
They're included. They're in the file already.
okay. I have not filed it with the town yet. So.
Correct. Yes. Yep. We don't want to file those until we get any approvals on the line first.
Any commission members that have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
Hang on one second. Commission members, anybody? If anybody didn't speak at the last meeting on their comments, I know everyone said a lot of comments. If anybody new has something to say for the applicant, we can go there because we kind of heard everything everyone had to say the last meeting. A new person who spoke from the last meeting. We have everybody recorded from the last meeting. Is anyone new in the audience?
If Gary has anything new to say.
But you know what, there was something that was,
If you could just state your name and your
Vivian
address.
Michaels, Burma Road, Southbury. There was there was some disagreement about that piece of land, whether it was commercial and I don't know if it was cleared up in the last meeting, because it didn't sound like it was clear.
I'd be happy to answer that question.
Okay.
So the confusion was as a result of a lot line revision between what was residential property and that commercial piece of property. So although the boundary line still exists in its current position, there's a small piece of property outside of where the proposed work is to occur that is residential, and it's deemed residential. But what you all drive past every day and what you see as the primary site, that is all commercial.
Oh, I know that.
Perfect.
Okay.
So there's no discrepancy, no work is going on in the residential area. Everything that's being proposed is on the commercial property. Not a problem. Gary, is anything new you'd like to put on to the record?
Yes.
Perfect.
I'd
Just
like-
state your name and your address, please.
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you.
Gary Diamond, 128 Burma Road. I only have a concern about the noise it's going to make and how long this project's going to last. Personally, I have long COVID with migraines, and I can't stand noise, and it triggers my migraines off. And I know there's other people on our road that have health issues. And I want to know how many hours a day we're going to have hammering, and for how many days. And then if he exceeds that time, I'd accept 4 hours a day at 10 days. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the quality of my life, my personal headaches, I mean, I'm the one suffering. he's not paying me anything. He's increasing the wealth of his land somehow, some way. This is why he's doing it. We're not, there's nothing to my health that's gonna get better. It's gonna get worse from the pounding and on the ground over there. And I just want a limit, and after the 10 days is over, I don't want to see the town accept a fine of $150 a day, because I look at the $150 a day as basically a bribe to the town, a political bribe to be able to keep working and make money off it, because he's making money by increasing the value of his land. That's why he's doing it.
Understood, Gary.
There's no other reason for doing it. It's increasing it. He's somehow benefiting by it.
So if I
okay?
may, I think your concerns are limited to hours of operation and getting some clarity as far as that goes.
Hours of operation and a limit put on there, and that there should be no fine. That's it, stop. God put the rock there, let the rock stay there, okay? Because we're on the same rock. It's one piece of granite, you know that,
Yep.
right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Gary. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions for the commission that we can address the applicant with? Anybody? No? Anyone from the commission, anything before we close the public hearing? No? All right, thank you. We'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Unfinished business, continuation, special exception, temporary soil extraction, application 1416 Southford Road. Discussion and decision. Anyone on the commission, anything? Thoughts from what the public had to say, or anything from the applicant, or before we make a decision?
For the noise concern,
Yep.
it's no longer crushing. When they had the crushers on there, it was not this applicant, the previous applicant. When they had the crushing, there was a lot of noise. It's mitigated quite a bit at this point. And the hours of operation stand as they are applied for.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Public hearings.
You have to just listen though now. Okay, Gary, because the public hearing's closed, so you can't make any comments. But we're going to address your issue for you.
And we can attempt to speak up for you as well.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Okay?
Weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So the hours of operation are going to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Weekdays.
weekdays only until the job's done. I think that's pretty reasonable to get it done, and they'll move it as quickly as possible, I'm sure.
How
to get
long
it
is
done.
that?
So we'll just reiterate for the record and in this discussion that the hours of operation, so everyone can hear, shall be limited to weekdays between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. And that is on the resolution.
This can go on all year.
Sorry, Gary.
Gary,
just
we're not
can't
allowed to
any
take any more
comments.
questions.
But thank you for your comments.
So, everyone comfortable with that on the commission?
Yes.
Okay.
We have
Any-
a resolution?
We do have a draft resolution. All right. That's just the
All this? Jeez, big one. All right, resolution 1416 Southford Road, Zone B1A, Rylex LLC, temporary soil extraction, MBL 54-28-5-6A, December 12, 2023, whereas the Southbury Planning Commission on November 14, 2023 received an application for a temporary soil extraction dated received in Land Use Department on 11/17/2023. Plans entitled Proposed Excavation Plan prepared by Rylex LLC, parcel 54-28-5-6A, 1416 Southford Road, Route 67, Southbury, Connecticut, dated 10/10/2023, created by Jones Engineering LLC. Whereas the proposed temporary soil extraction will allow for the removal of approximately 3,070 cubic yards of material from 1416 and 1450 Southford Road cumulatively. Whereas the previous soil extraction permit expired on May the 19th, 2023, before the owner was able to complete the soil extraction operations. Whereas the commission makes the following findings with regard to this application. 1, the applicant wishes to remove up to 3,070 cubic yards of rock and earth material from 1416 and 1450 Southford Road cumulatively. 2, there is no building application or construction or of any structure associated with this application. Whereas a public hearing was held on December 12, 2023 and closed, and all the information presented was considered. Whereas the commission finds proposed use as indicated by the applicant for the temporary soil extraction and is keeping with the pertinent regulations of the Town of Southbury Plan of Conservation Development. Now therefore be resolved by the Southbury Planning Commission that the application is approved to allow the removal of 3,070 cubic yards of rock and earth materials from 1416 and 1450 Southford Road cumulatively, subject to the following. A, the hours of operation shall be limited to weekdays only between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. B, proper provisions shall be made for control of wind-blown dust and spillage and debris and materials on all streets and adjoining parcels as required in sections 8.8.2 and 8.8 and 8.3 for the zoning regulations. C, a bond from the amount of $17,490 to ensure the faithful performance of the work in accordance with the provisions of the zoning regulations shall continue to be held by the town of Southbury until such time that the earthwork has ceased and the site has been stabilized. A post-excavation survey bearing the seal of surveyor must be submitted to order to release the bond and shall show the finished contours on the site. D, the site will be subject to inspection fees as required in par 14.8 of the zoning regulation. And last, said temporary soil extraction permit shall become effective upon the filing of a certified copy, therefore, on the land records, and bearing in violations shall remain in effect through 12/12/2024. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It's passed. Thank you. To continuation site plan modification 234 Judd Road, Region 15 PHS metal storage building. You can stand right over there if you want to, make it easy where everybody can see, if that's easy for you.
No problem.
Do you need it? So, oh, yeah, okay.
No, yeah,
Okay.
just simple.
Just tell us your name and.
Sure. Joe Martino, I'm the finance director for Region 15. We are proposing adding an additional metal storage building behind the current home bleachers. Back in the day, there were metal storage bins, I would say, back there. So we have identified a flat area ground. It's obviously away from the wetlands line, and it's a 30 by 50 building. Metal construction, 3 beds.
Pretty straightforward. Anybody have any questions for the applicant? That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the ordinary? Nope. We have everything we need?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion on it before we? No? All right, I'll make it. What's that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All set. I'll just read the resolution here for us. Resolution of 234 Judd Road, Zone M2, Region 15, Pampero High School site modification. November 14th, 2023, whereas the Southbury Planning Commission on 11/14/2023 received an application for a site plan modification data received in the Land Use Department on 11/1/2023, whereas the proposed site modification would allow for the demolition of an existing storage building as well as construction of a 30 by 50 metal storage building in its place. Whereas the Commission has received requisite approval for Housatonic Health District dated 12/14/2023 for the construction of a 30 by 50 metal storage building with 3 garage doors shown on the plans titled. Whereas the Commission finds proposed use as indicated by the applicant for construction for a storage building and is in keeping with the pertinent regulations of the Town of Planner Southbury's Conservation and Development. Now therefore be resolved by the Southbury Planning Commission, the application is approved to allow the demolition of the existing storage building, construction of a 30 by 50 metal storage building with 3 garage doors in its place, subject to the following: the submission of the approval of the application to the zoning and the building department. Thank you. All right. Let's see, number 3, continued. Let's see, site plan modification application for 1380 Southford Road, Hairy Dog Realty LLC. Regrade the gravel parking lot.
Good evening.
Hello, Ron, I'd be happy to hold that.
Oh, I
so-
got an easel up there.
Oh, you're good?
Ah, cool.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have enough room to.
That'll work.
Yep. As long as everybody can see, that's good.
Okay. Sure, I'll trip over it. Okay. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good evening, Ron Wolf, professional engineer with my office in Woodbury, and I'm here representing the applicant, Dan Jacobs of Hairy Dog Realty. The property is located at 1380 Southford Road. It's on the south side of Southford Road, which is Route 67. And there's an existing special permit here for automotive repair shop and used car sales. Dan has been operating his business for prior to 2015, I believe, and there's an existing special permit in
Could you
place.
please speak up?
Yep, there's an existing special permit in place for the property. The lot has an area of 4.017 acres, and it's located in the B1A zoning district. So Mr. Jacobs is seeking a site plan modification to lower the grade of this area to the east side of his building, shaded in brown. It was currently used as a gravel parking area in the past, and the grade was considerably higher. And what Dan would like to do, some of the work has been started. I'm sure you may have been by there. I guess Dan wasn't aware that he had a permit, and he contacted me, asked me to help him with his permits. But there used to be a set of stairs that went from the parking lot of Dan's business up about 5 or 6 risers, and then there was a access driveway that went up in elevation to get to this area. This is a aerial photograph that showed the way it was before. And what Dan would basically like to do is lower that grade down so that it's approximately the same elevation of his driveway and parking area. We did the surveying and the earthwork calculations, about 391 cubic yards, or about 22 truckloads of material. Wouldn't be any blasting or crushing or anything like that. So, and then we basically digitized, you know, the area that was pavement before, gravel before, and we're just gonna propose to keep that the same area now, just at a different elevation, and the surrounding area would just be restored to turf or grass. So, do you have any questions?
I know. Will the elevation change, like where water flows down
No.
or into?
Everything basically flows to the north now.
Okay.
It's just gonna be at a flatter grade, and then there'll be a 3-to-1 slope on the south side of the property to match into the existing slope here. It'll all be stabilized with grass.
Anyone else on the commission? Yes?
Any additional buffers? There's a lot of storage outside that building all the time, and it doesn't show on your aerial. When was that taken? Because on the right-hand side of the building too, there's been a lot of debris and,
No, that's a fairly recent, we did a recent survey, and that's basically how it is today.
so could you, is there any objection to putting some kind of a buffer on your, I guess it would be the north side?
The north side would be along
Okay.
the road, and Dan kind of wanted
That's
to,
north?
one of the reasons he wanted to do this was just so that his building was more visible
Yeah.
for people driving into Southbridge, 'cause it was screened before. It's an improvement of what it was in the past when there was all truck bodies and stuff stacked up there. And Dan does keep his property pretty nice.
There's a fence in front, is that correct?
No,
Mm-mm.
no fence.
No,
It's,
no.
there's some trees there, those are gonna stay,
Yeah.
and then it'll be
So I'm
grass.
looking at this side, on your left hand there, is there any, because you're expanding the use and there's a lot of vehicle parking,
He
all the
doesn't
time-
need any more, he's
What?
got plenty of parking area for his vehicles and customers.
so what's
this is
gonna be
all-
the use of the new area?
It's just occasional, maybe a car there occasionally, but it'll be, he's got, as you can see, he's got plenty of room in his, for his business. This was there before, he's basically
Yeah.
just lowering the elevation, he's not intensifying any of the use or anything. So we went over
What's the
that.
use of the abutting property there on the left-hand side there?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this was the applicant that was just here.
That's-
so the
It's right next door.
materials
Oh, yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it's all gonna be approximately the same elevation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bob?
So you said an occasional car there, so nothing like long-term?
No,
So it's not gonna turn into like a used car
No.
lot, it's not gonna turn into,
No.
you know,
and the applicant went over that with myself and Jordan pretty extensively. And,
okay, and then thoughts of, they had some plantings to the right side of the driveway. Is there anything that would address now to the left side, you know, your proposed area, to just dress it up, something low level, so it doesn't hinder any sight lines or anything like that, but just kind of dresses up the property a little bit?
Besides grass, there's some existing trees here, those would stay, but I think he just kind of wanted to leave that open. I guess, I'm sorry, I can't speak for him.
Why does it say it
He's not
includes a
here.
landscaping plan?
Yeah.
Pardon?
It said, the application says it also includes a landscaping plan?
No, just because we weren't really going outside of the limits of what was there before, so.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
It says it in there.
Maybe that was a different application, but we don't submit that.
Oh, well, it
Just
says under
we-
background and history.
Because he wasn't expanding.
That was the background history?
Mm-hmm, it says
Okay.
that,
Got it.
yeah.
Well, it's something we can
This
ask for.
application
You
also
wanna
include a
ask-
landscaping plan, however, following a review and memo by Hugh Sullivan.
Previous, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To determine the existing
Is
plantings.
free. Living room's open?
Yeah. It's up to you.
We're fine.
Yeah, in the front,
Here.
in the front too, that's pretty.
Bob, do you want to
Yeah.
ask for some landscaping ideas?
And the approximate locations.
I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think it would.
Dress
keep-
it up.
Dress it up a little bit and,
What were you,
We-
did you have anything?
Do we ever see that landscaping plan in the beginning? Was
No,
it
so
submitted?
the landscaping
Yeah.
plan that was referenced was a landscaping plan that when Mr. Jacobs was going for the special exception to transfer the special exception permit from the previous owner to now Dan Jacobs, who operates in the same capacity as the previous owner, they, the commission, you guys, were looking at the application and were considering maybe a planting plan. The applicant reached out to Hugh Sullivan, who drafted up a memo to this commission. And as a result of Mr. Sullivan's review and this commission reading the memo, it was determined that the existing landscaping was adequate and no landscaping plan was needed. This is a separate application before you
Right.
today.
This is before this.
right.
Correct.
But I do want to say that, you know,
Why do you say that?
there's a plan to improve the sightlines. I'm not looking to get plantings there that are going to inhibit any sightline. So
Just
bear that in
beautify the
mind.
area.
If he put like 2 trees behind the property line, would that be adequate?
You'd have to submit it.
Well, I could update this, I could submit this.
I would say put a few things in there, something that makes it look nice, and a couple of trees and bushes make it look nice, and that's,
Just that area, that
Yeah.
whole area of Salford could use some help.
Yeah.
I agree.
dress it up would be nice. We'll wait and see what you come up with.
Yeah,
Okay.
be great for the community.
So with respect to this application needing to essentially move forward
Yeah.
today,
We can make a decision
would
on
this
that.
commission be amicable to the applicant submitting a planting plan that is possibly reviewed by myself and the chair? And
Absolutely.
we would
Absolutely.
be okay
Yes.
to go forward?
Your
with that?
judgment is fine.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Can we make any comments or questions?
No, no, sorry, it's
This
not a
isn't a
public hearing.
public hearing application
Unfortunately.
today, unfortunately, so I'm sorry, the public will not be able to
Yeah.
make comment.
Because we're parallel, Burma Road is parallel to this.
We understand.
We understand.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
though. Anyone else on the commission, anything for the applicant?
Maybe the public doesn't know, they can always submit correspondence.
It'll already
Yeah.
be a done
It's
deal.
not
Be a
public
done
hearing.
deal.
Maybe she,
No, I'd be
Just
happy.
opening up a noise barrier to 67 for that.
Besides the noise barrier.
We're not supposed to
Again,
comment,
apologies.
sorry. If
But
you wanna
when could we?
You could submit something in writing to the to the land use office.
Okay,
That would help.
Happy to
Okay.
file that away.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have to make a decision, so,
we should add it to the resolution.
yeah,
That's all.
I'll make a motion to approve it. And second?
Yeah.
Okay, second. Any discussion? We're gonna add in Bob's idea there. This is a long resolution, like 4 pages.
Everything is
Sorry,
ready.
you feel like reading?
Turn everything into water
Thanks.
breaks, that's all.
Okay,
do the other two that are left.
quickly, whereas the Southbury Planning Commission on 12/12/23 received an application from Daniel Jacobs, owner of Hairy Dog Realty LLC, for approval of a site plan modification as shown in the following. Map entitled Site Plan, prepared by Wolf Engineering, Ron Wolf, license number blah, 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 okay. Whereas a public hearing was held on January 17th and closed January 17th, upon which time all information presented was considered. Whereas the commission, number 1, the application proposes 4 lots. Is this correct?
That's she said.
I'm sorry?
Is this correct?
Is there a date that's up?
Want me to read it?
Is that correct? 4 lots?
4
That's
lots?
not- that's-
No, we're not.
No, that's not it.
No.
That's not it.
Apologies.
That's the other application.
This is in the mix of the two,
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
not it.
All right, so we'll get a resolution into the record afterwards.
Motion to approve as presented with the stipulation, oh, the motion was already made?
Motion on the table, second already, discussion was to add
Discussion.
a landscaping style plan that the applicant will get back to us.
Subject to staff approval,
The chairman and
staff,
land use director.
yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All set.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we're ready for the.
Okay.
Let's see here. Your questions on us.
How you doing? Good to see you. I'm fine. Take this one? Somebody's chair?
Anywhere you want to sit.
We can get you one, Gail. or-
Okay, that's all right.
Fine.
Come over here, too.
All right.
Okay. Joe's not coming in? Okay. Number 4, let's see, continued subdivision application, North Point Ridge, 75 Bucks Hill Road. You guys are up.
Okay. For the record, I'm Gail McTaggart, law firm of Secor Casting McPartland, offices in Southbury, and I represent the applicants.
So if we could, just quick, I'm sorry again to interrupt you, if we can keep it to 10 minutes?
I'll try.
Yeah, and then we'll get to questions and kind of go from there.
Okay, we don't have too much to talk about, so.
Great.
Also with me, obviously, is Mark Glencore from
Yep.
Dymar, who's been the moving force behind the engineering on this project.
Mhm.
At our last meeting, you discussed the conservation area
Mhm.
that's on the plan, talked about a revision to that area, and also at the end of the meeting, said that your commission would continue to entertain a fee in lieu of open space.
Mhm.
And I think,
Well,
I
you
wasn't.
guys offered that to us.
We offered it, and
Yeah.
I think at the meeting, Nancy Clark may have also suggested it at one of the early meetings that it be considered.
Right. And originally, your applicant didn't want to do that. That was what was said.
We know,
Right.
okay, and we know it's a two-way street.
Yep.
For a fee in lieu, it has to be,
Yep.
you agree, we agree.
Sure.
We've decided to do it.
Okay.
So we would offer it. I've had a short discussion with Jordan because there's been a recent appraisal of the property from the town. And so the way that all works is if the subdivision's approved, after the approval, then the appraisal gets sorted out and the amount gets determined. We think it could be pretty easy because there's such a current appraisal on the property. We did look at what would happen if you added the area you talked about. We would be at 22% open space, where you have a 15% requirement in your regulations. I do understand the authority of the commission, both ways. And also, there was a question raised about the disclosure of the purpose of the subdivision. It's residential. It's a residential subdivision. It's 3 lots. And under your zoning regs, we can do what you can do in 3 lots and do whatever that is. There's, no matter whether it's these clients or any clients, in the future, they may have other alternatives for the property, but that's all we're doing now. And it helps this property because right now it's you can put 1 house on it, okay? And by getting this done, we can put 3 houses on it and develop it and make it more valuable, probably be higher taxed and all those sorts of things. So that is, there's no secret, there's no backstory or anything more to that. However, you know, the applicants want to make sure that you understand that that's their current intent.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so, okay, thank you. I think you're,
I think that's it, other than that I believe, and I can have Mark do this, that it's our view that we've met every provision of the subdivision regulations in terms of engineering, layout, design, and all those kinds of things. And so we're asking you to approve it.
Okay, so we have a few questions too. So back to the fee in lieu of, as we have from our regulations, as you, I'm sure you're well aware of it, we'll have to get an independent appraisal, of which we both agree on. So it wouldn't be your choice or our choice.
We can do that, or we can agree upon
That's what we.
an amount.
Yeah, we definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
We want to have it evaluated.
But we would choose the appraisal or
Right.
at your expense, yeah.
Yep, we share the expense.
It's a
the town
shared
does.
expense.
Shared expense.
Sure, I'm
Yep.
sorry, shared expense, you're correct.
But what doesn't sit well with the commission and land use, and myself especially, is from the very first meeting, no disrespect to Mark, but he did say there was, the future of this development, there was a secret. And according to the subdivision regulations, an application is complete when all the information is in, that we have a clear direction of where this property is going for the future. And based on that, the commission's a little concerned about the direction of the whole project. So
When did your commission discuss this?
we didn't. It's my thought, and I've talked to Jordan about it. We talked to town council about it, and based on that alone, not having a complete application from what we feel is enough for a denial. So we just want to know tonight if you can give us answers and enlighten us on what the secret is or your future use of the lot is. Because if it's just 3 houses, that's great. It doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't go for the conservation easement that we originally asked for with the wetlands and the upland areas between lots 2 and 3, because why would you guys care, right? Because if it was owned by the lay person, right? If Nancy and I own lot 2 and 3, we wouldn't care if there's conservation easement. So we're just not crystal clear why Mark was saying, we're not doing that, was his exact words at the last meeting, and why there's a secret. So if you can help us out, is there a future application for this land besides what you're showing
Well,
us?
there's a whole bunch of things about, you've asked 2 questions, okay?
2 important ones.
The only plans now are the ones before you. And that's for a residential subdivision, that's what's been put in.
Okay.
That's what you have. So if that's correcting what was said before, then take it as a correction, that's what we're doing. It is not to say that for a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now,
Yep.
there may be another plan for this property, there may
Right.
be different owners, all kinds of things. It doesn't matter whether it's this property or any property, the commission can't say, because you might do something in the future, you turn this down. So that's not permissible.
Well, we're not saying that we're doing that from that side. We're saying that we don't feel the
Don't have all the
application is complete
information.
because the way it was presented to us is that the application is not complete because you didn't lay out your future plans. And that's our job, to really protect the town.
Now, we've
Do-
discussed this, and let me just say, I've also discussed it with your counsel.
Right, and he feels like exactly the way I'm telling you right now, is that he feels that that is grounds for the commission to deny the application.
It is not what he said to me.
Well, that's what he told us.
Okay.
You want to cite the regulation too? It says future.
Right.
Yeah,
Future
so,
use should be
yeah, so that,
presented.
that's because a subdivision is always a future document. We haven't yet divided the lots.
Yeah, well, I think
and
it's a fair
developed.
question. Mark Langford said it's a secret, and we'd like to know what the secret is.
Okay, we've answered it. There's no secret.
Oh, well, that doesn't sit well with the commission. Not at all.
That's
I
one.
don't know how you know it sits with the commission. You haven't voted on it, discussed it?
We talked about this in
Oh,
the
yes.
last meeting. Everybody
It
had their
just seems like
opinion
there's
on
an
it.
ulterior motive.
Everybody had a
Just
comment
not
about
really
it when it
clear
came
about
out. We
it.
were very concerned
There's not,
about
but
it.
even if there were another plan, the owners of property are entitled to come in and do a residential subdivision and make it work so that they can develop
Sure.
houses on that piece of property.
Absolutely.
If they decide to do something later, they'll come back in to the agencies as required and show what their intent is at that time.
But for Mark to say there was a secret means the application wasn't complete.
You
Mr. Chairman, I have to
opened
say,
the
I
door.
never said it was a secret.
Oh,
It's
yes.
on tape.
No, I
It's
never
on
said
tape.
it was a secret.
It's on tape.
You
4
asked
times.
me
We
if
asked you-
if there's other
I asked you if there was a future use for the-
future,
and you said it's a
I know
secret.
what I said. That is not for me to say.
You have the minutes,
That
Ed?
is up to.
It's in the
that
minutes.
is-
It's in the minutes, Mark, and it's recorded. Mark, you said it. Mark, you said it. No, I don't want to argue about it. No disrespect to you. You said it. It's a secret. You said it twice. You said it twice.
That's
So
what
we're
opened
just
the door.
concerned by that. And most importantly, we can't make a decision on this tonight for a fact that the Historical Commission has sent a correspondence to us, and they're very concerned about the historical area of not only this development that you're proposed now, or any future use of it. And they want an evaluation of it. So we have to allow them to do that.
Okay, let me just say that there are no buildings proposed in the historic district area, and the jurisdiction of the historic district is only as to buildings. There are no buildings proposed in the historic district area. There is no jurisdiction of the historic district here.
Right, they're concerned about, do you have the correspondence
The
by any
driveway,
chance?
yeah.
Did you have a copy of the correspondence by any chance?
From the Historic Society, did you?
Did you get a copy of it, Gail?
I did not.
Neither did I.
It was, well, it was part of our minutes. It certainly came here, so it was available to the
Well, it wasn't in the
Yeah.
minutes of the last meeting.
It was
Oh, it just
available
came
to
in.
the public, yeah.
Well, you want to take a quick peek at it?
Sure.
So, and they're concerned about the driveway as well.
Into the record, too.
With that, I'm going to read into record, sure. So we have to, allow them to do their evaluation. You can see in the letter, they're disappointed that we didn't ask them to have their viewpoint in advance, so we have to allow them to do that.
It's inaccurate.
He said he was unable at this time to reveal a secret plan.
They seem to think there's two driveways. I'm not sure what plan they're looking at.
I'll have to give this to you to read. Give us a second to read it, please.
Yeah, we should read it into the record.
I'm going to read into record.
Yeah.
There's also incorrect statements because we're keeping the open field. This is my opinion, not necessarily the opinion of the historic district as a whole.
Well, I'm the vice chairman of the commission.
That doesn't matter. Your commissions only act as a body. They don't act.
I understand. Well, we have to do our due diligence and give them the right to have their,
Actually, you don't. Not if they don't have jurisdiction.
It's our option to do that. It's our choice.
and we should, just to keep it all whole. It makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, you're gonna read it in the record. I want Mark to be able to read it.
Sure.
Can I ask another question while he's reading?
Of course.
The conservation easement, does it include the uplands? What's the area? You have it on your map?
It shows on the map.
Is it
I'll read it
including
into the record.
It does
Right.
include uplands, and there's a breakdown on the map that shows the amount of uplands, the amount of wetlands.
Has that
the amount of
changed?
steep
So it-
slopes, all of that, and that's the 15% that was provided, that was proposed.
So has that changed? It's,
It's 22.
the uplands are
No, we're not,
included.
no, we're not gonna do both the fee and loop and do that. We're offering the same thing that the Wetlands Commission has approved on their plans.
So it does not include the uplands then?
No.
It does include a conservation restriction area, and it has a 15% area that's part of the conservation easement.
I
But it doesn't
understand
include
that.
the uplands
Does not
between
include
lots
the
2 and 3
uplands.
though.
Which is
Because that's what
we-
we asked for and
we
you guys
said.
denied
It
it.
does not include what you.
Does not include.
You
Right.
requested because our offer is to provide a fee in lieu of
Right.
open space.
Right. Well, initially it wasn't. That's why we asked for that.
I know, well,
Yeah.
it was kind of at the end of the meeting, and we
Yeah.
just said we'd come back. and
Yep,
here
so
we
why
are.
Mark's reading, I'm just gonna read this into the record. On February 15th, 2024, reading North Point Bridge, 75 Bucks Hill Road, to the Town of Southbury Planning Commission. Dear Commissioners, my name is John Durham. I am contacting you on behalf of the Southbury Historic Commission, District 1. I am the Vice Chair. It has come to my attention of our commission that we have not been contacted as our input on the development in this property, which may be statutory requirement to issue permits. We have become aware that now, not only will there be one driveway cutting through the historic vista in the land under the purview of the Historic Commission, but 2 driveways, and 2 is all in capital letters. On driveways, one driveway will empty almost directly into the diagonal exit on Main Street from Mansion House Road. This is already a tricky intersection, complicated by recent intrusions of aluminum guardrails at the road abutting Main Street. These guardrails degrading the Main Street vista of the historic Kingsland Commons. How the Department of Transportation got comfortable with these two new driveway and intersections right after the light on Bucks Hill is a true marvel. Now there is a development will further degrade the historic neighborhood along the section of Main Street by limiting at least one field vista along Main Street and multiple driveways and having driveways and historic properties in the district. Interjecting a personal note at this point, it is my opinion, and not necessarily the opinion of the Historic Commission as a whole, the three gerrymandered lots are at best corrupt in the broadest sense of the word, meaning unnatural. As a professional real estate agent, I can say without a doubt, lot lines of this nature pretend nothing in the future but trouble. I would hesitate to guess that in the future there will be further requests to divide these lots with the potential of more driveways and other development. To conclude, respectively, as the Planning Commission to have the Historic Commission officially notified of the developer's intentions as it pertains to our purview. Additionally, as we ask the Planning Commission, remember to refer to the town's plan of conservation and development for guidance. Yes, we know that the document is not really something adhered to, but only a document completed to meet state requirements. But please note, ideally, it claims that the town will be vested intentions on behalf of the citizens to preserve the rural character of the town and support the historic preservation. Thank you for your support. We look forward to hearing from the relevant parties and taking part in the process of preserving historic Southbury. Sincerely, John Urim, Vice Chairman, Historic Commission 1.
Okay, if I might, I'll put into the record a state statute, 7-147, subsection B. This is regarding the jurisdiction of the Historic District Commission. In its deliberation, the Historic District Commission shall act only for the purpose of controlling the erection or alteration of buildings, structures, or parking which are incongruous with the historic architectural aspects of the district. They have no jurisdiction where we provide no buildings, no renovations, we're doing nothing. As a matter of fact, there's been a huge effort to save that field no matter what. Understanding how important it is to Main Street, to the streetscape, and what is there. Putting something underneath it, a septic system or whatever is underneath it, does not do that, does not affect it. So let me skip this into the record, please.
Thank you.
I'd like to see the Historic Society.
And the second thing I'm gonna say is, after 40 years of
Yeah, Mark, we'll take that back whenever you
practicing law
Thank you, sir.
and representing planning commissions and looking at law, subdivisions are out of right. They're administrative approvals. The regulations set forth the standards, and those are the standards. Once they're met, our courts have said they must be approved. Only if they are not met can you do conditions or do other things on the approval. We have no problem with working with you on the fee in lieu of open space.
Sure.
We'll be happy to do that. We have a wetlands report approving, by the way, with no regulated activities proposed. Nothing. Nothing in this proposal is affecting the wetlands. And yet, there is a conservation area putting on there because, as is often true, as this commission knows, we can take an area, conserve its open space, and also conserve wetlands, conserve uplands around it, and that's what was done. To take this and say you have to have 22% of your property protected is outrageous.
No one said you had to have that. That's what we offered you. Whether you take it is up to you. We're
Yeah.
not saying you had to take
Yeah,
it. Let's
so
make that clear on the record.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not needed, obviously, to protect the wetlands, because the Wetlands Commission is the authority to make that determination, and they've determined that what was presented was appropriate and have.
For wetlands, sure, but the planning commission is the one who decides what goes into conservation easement, and the commission felt, especially myself, that's why I asked for it. I thought it would
Okay,
be nice.
so we're
Yeah.
offering a fee in lieu of that.
Sure.
And we will also honor, even though it's unbelievably an overkill, we'll also offer to keep the conservation easement that has been part of the plan that was approved by wetlands. They approved the plan that showed it, and
Well, we get the
it will
wetlands anyway.
stay, it will stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will stay because of the wetlands approval.
Right.
So it will be there. I don't think there's, you can tell me where in your regulations it says that we have an input from a historic district where there's no buildings proposed.
It's our purview, if they come back with that, fine.
No, it's
But
not.
it's our purview to ask for their input.
I don't believe it is. I don't think there's
Yes,
any
it is.
place in your regulations that says that. If you can tell me where that is.
It doesn't have to be in the
let me know.
regulation, Gail.
It
We want-
does.
Due
If the
diligence.
Subdivision-
Historic
Part
Commission
of,
wants
it's part
it,
of our due diligence.
Yes.
right, we have the
correct.
right to grant it to them.
Yeah.
The planning commission has the right to grant it to them, whether it's
To
in the
grant what?
regulation, them to do their due diligence and
To
double
To
check
do,
it.
then to do.
They want to make sure that it doesn't inhibit anything to do with the historic area, and I
What would
think
be
it's a
your
good idea.
objection to having input from the
Because we
Historic
would,
Society?
they have no authority over it.
What's your objection?
You know, you have plenty of
Well,
time
we've
on an
been,
extension.
we've been, let's see, we're almost out at 130 days,
Mhm.
okay? And we're now raising this? I mean,
This
there's
just
gotta be an end to
This
this at
just
some
came
point.
up, you saw the date on it, and you're the folks granted us the exception. You asked us for the extension, so we gave it to you, which was great. We appreciated that. And you have still 65 days, so another 30 days, right, still, so I think we have plenty of time for them to do their due diligence. Well,
Jordan, what did you calculate our deadline to be?
So
It's
from
another
December
2 weeks.
17th, we have till,
60 days?
yeah, February 17th, roughly.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I have it written down.
well, roughly 60 days, right? So yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I don't think I have it here, Joe.
Well, I'll just say for the record, I don't think there's anything in your regulations that permits this kind of interplay. The Historic District Commission, if we had to get a certificate of appropriateness for something we were doing, that's all they do, is issue certificates of appropriateness. If we were to do that, we would have a separate application that goes into them. But we don't, there's nothing to apply for. There's nothing they have jurisdiction on. So we may have people that live in that area, that are in the historic district, I understand that. We have been very careful. As a matter of fact, there's access off of Bucks Hill Road. And Mark, can you talk about the driveways?
One, there's not two, so I'm just from the aspect, I don't know where they're getting two.
I don't know,
I
that's
don't
why I was
know.
gonna ask you
I mean,
folks.
you have a plan that shows one.
It shows
I understand that, that's why, when we got this letter, we were concerned, that's why I'm asking you, going back to, there's a secret, is there another plan that got out that someone else knows about, or someone tipped their hat and they know there's two driveways, that's why we're asking.
No.
No,
You
there's
opened the
no-
door.
The plan you have is the
We're
plan we're
doing this.
asking to approve, not some other plan.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about if you were sitting in my seat, Gail, and we tipped our hat like like Mark did. I mean, Mark opened the door, we wanted to walk through it, we have a right to. You would say the same thing, what do you mean by that? It's our due diligence.
Okay, we've told you what we mean.
I understand what you mean, and I think, I'm gonna make a motion talk to my commission that we should have the, historic do their due diligence, and then we'll table this till next month. I'll make a decision on the 17th, right?
When the historic does their due diligence, are they gonna involve us?
I'm sure they are,
Since
because
since we're the applicants in the subdivision?
You can come to this next meeting too, give your input.
yeah, well, according to the correspondence, they're interested in talking to all parties involved, the way it said it, so I'm assuming they will. And we'll make sure they talk to you, sure,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with talking to them and saying,
sure.
we're not doing anything that's under your jurisdiction.
I think that we'll it'll,
There's nothing to
I mean,
do.
commissions can't just decide what they want their jurisdiction to be. We don't work that way in Connecticut, so.
No, but we want to get all the input we
right.
can so that
We're
we do
doing our
our
due diligence for the
due
town,
diligence.
the best interest of the town, Gail, you should understand that.
I want to cite
And
something
wouldn't you agree,
about,
we have to do our due diligence, because we have to.
I
do
don't
it to the-
agree.
We have to do it to the town's best
I
interest.
don't agree that the due diligence involves something you've probably never done before.
There's a first time for everything.
that's,
There
I
is.
don't think that's.
And it happens, I'm sure it happened to you in other towns too as well, I mean, I think it's a fair request.
So can I find out a little bit more about, shall we continue on this, on the fee and lieu discussion then?
Absolutely, if that's what they wanted to do, we would have to get the
We'll get an appraiser.
appraiser.
No, we both have to agree
Agree on
upon the
appraiser.
appraiser.
I think
Yeah.
at this point it would be a good time
That's
to
what the
start.
statute says.
Yeah.
And both parties pay.
Yep,
There would be some, there may be an appraiser that would tell you, you've just assessed your property, you want to save some dollars here from both sides, it's gonna look like this. Yeah, but we can talk about that after,
I
that's
think we should
a,
have an independent that hasn't.
that
done
happens
it
after the
at all.
approval. It doesn't happen before the approval. It happens after the approval.
I'd like to
Yeah.
cite
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
State of Connecticut for upland guidelines. It's section 22A-42D and 22A-42A of the general statutes for protection of uplands. So you may want to
I'm
review
very,
that also.
very, very aware of the protection of uplands. We're in a situation where we have no regulated activity. We have nothing that this subdivision is doing that's gonna impact wetlands at all. And in an upland area, you can put a house under the state statutes.
If it's
It's
a
just that the commission, the Wetlands Commission gets to review it to determine if when you're doing that house, in some way under construction, you're impacting the wetlands.
Right.
If there's an impact, then it gets looked at and reviewed by the Wetlands Commission. In this case, there are no regulated activities, period. There's nothing that could impact, because there's nothing that is happening that's going to impact those wetlands.
I'm not sure the Wetlands Commission did their upland review to describe the non-wetland and non-watercourse
They-
area.
The Wetlands Commission regulates upland review areas, and they looked at the plan, and they made the decision.
They did not review.
Nobody's
the
appealed
upland.
that decision. That decision's a final decision
They
by the
did,
Wetlands
they didn't
Commission.
review the upland, maybe.
No, no,
I guess
they-
I'll-
they-
It's
and I
part of
will say,
it.
they did, and not only did they do that, they actually walked the site, they walked out and everything, and they reviewed everything, they reviewed the report. Everybody knows, Mr. Spencer, chairman, he's been around doing this for a long, long time. So he understands what his jurisdiction, and he understands how to evaluate a project in terms of its effect on an upland review area.
Based on the soils, which is not
No,
determined
no,
on the
no,
wall.
no, no.
No, based
No,
on-
no, no.
based on what's
They
regulated
base it
area.
on drainage, they base it on the development, they base it on all, they
And-
base it on everything.
And soils,
No.
The wetland system is based on soil types in Connecticut.
yes.
However, the whole fabric of the wetlands regulations involves looking at all those activities, the drainage, the calculations, all of
Exactly.
that.
Watershed.
All of that
All
was-
the criteria that goes
Exactly.
into
And
it.
I believe, Mark, you can say, but I believe all that was done.
It was all done.
And this commission isn't in a position to second guess them, you know, that commission is the commission that makes those determinations.
Okay, we can find out if they address that. Okay.
So, is everybody comfortable with tabling to the next meeting, and we'll get the historic review done, and then we should have everything completed by
Motion to
then?
table
I'll
to
second
the
that.
February
All in favor?
17th.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We'll table it till February 17th, is it? Or 16th is our next one. February meeting.
Do you know when the next historic district commission meeting is?
I do not, but I'm sure Jordan does.
February 20th.
February 20th, room 205, 7 PM.
That's your next meeting?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
We take a vote
we took a vote.
on table it?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
You raised your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the 20th of February.
Okay, got it.
There's nothing in the meeting in conflict, I think, we should have it, no problem.
I'm assuming that the historic district is meeting before that.
I would think so, between now and then, I would hope. I mean, it's
We'll see.
only
I
for a
I really
month
don't know,
away.
I really don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay.
Let's see this.
So they meet on the 12th, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oops, I better get my first.
All right, let's see.
Pilates.
Hmm?
The Pilates next?
Yeah, under new business, special exception application, 77 Main Street North, unit number 204, Pilates Studio. We're receiving this application only, is that correct? All right, it'll be on the schedule for February 20th, 2024, 7 o'clock, room 205. Under other business, 8-24, Board of Selectmen referral, Marcia Carlito, is that right? How you pronounce it? I'm not sure well. That sounds good. Berkshire Estates. What do you have with you on that? That's what I saw over here.
So yeah, essentially, this came before this commission about a year or so ago, a gentleman is looking to purchase a number of lots in this area. He has the two parcels located in blue along the Pomperog River are what he currently owns. He has a dwelling.
That's this item, don't we do this first?
We just did receiving only.
Okay, thank you.
So anybody wants to
He
see
has a
that?
dwelling a bit
Remember that?
disconnected
Yeah, you remember
from
that,
that
yeah.
location. SLR did the review
Yep.
when you guys originally got this. In speaking with Vince McDermott, I don't think he had the full town disposition policy. After I and the first selectman reviewed that, we actually ended up sending a memo to this commission at the time, just kind of recommending a review and touching on a couple key points. It's really, the intent doesn't line up with the disposition policy. The lots would be challenging and would cause increased issues with respect to driveways, drainage, steep slopes, and everything as far as those go if a development was to occur, which again is not the intent of the Southbury disposition policy.
They're pretty small too to put a development on.
Right, if you were to combine them, however,
Right.
and now you have a valid building lot, which again is fine if you have an existing dwelling.
And the drainage isn't.
Drainage all goes to the pump
Key.
road, very aggressively. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
steep sloped out here. The only access, if he were ever to combine all the parcels and then develop, would be on Pasco Drive. He'd have to get easements over existing property, and right now there's 4 properties off a single driveway, all with the last name Pasco. So the challenge with that is evident. I think his intent, as he listed it, was for better access to his properties along the Pomperong River. I've actually had the ability to walk this site as a result of a potential complaint that was filed, and I got permission from Mr. Muscartolo. He can access this property. You can park at the L turn for one of the driveways just to the east of his property, and then you can walk down what is a paper road, which used to be an old access for what were power lines to an old structure that used to be along the Pomperog River that is no longer there, but the access road is still in existence. It's nothing you can drive a car down.
Who owns the access?
Southbury. It's a paper road.
Okay.
So, you know, and the idea of trespassing while they traverse this area, it's Southbury town land on either side. So he has full rights of access to get to these properties, in my opinion.
The Board of Selectmen wants our positive or negative view on this.
On
the-
disposition of the
On
pink parcels.
Purchase.
And what, have they made a decision on it?
Not until you guys,
No?
this
Everybody think?
one's kind of coming back to us.
I remember this one from the beginning.
And it was inclusive of this parcel. This
Yeah.
parcel has a much higher appraisal value, so he'd like to drop that off in the proposal.
He doesn't want this one then?
No.
Which one?
The big one right here?
About a half, 5.5
Oh, the-
acres,
okay.
I believe.
He should take it all.
So
That's
we
nice,
should-
that might be done.
It could be, yeah, but that's and then development here is very challenging.
Motion to forward to the selectmen a negative review of the purchase of 8-24 Marsco Tolo.
And he just,
Do we have to state a reason?
Do you have to
I
say a
think,
reason?
yeah.
I'll
Well,
second
it's
that.
better if we do.
But we should, yeah. Anybody have any comments on it?
Drainage is my concern.
Discussion at all? Anybody have anything on it?
No,
Potential for,
No.
just sit here.
So we gotta come up with some, like, reason they're gonna-
and the purpose for purchase is for access, and he already has access.
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So first priority
Sorry,
considerations.
slow with my thoughts and.
So the commission must first make first priority considerations. Conservation of protected and open space, streams, pond, wetlands, floodways, unusual natural habitats or scenic views. That's pretty self-evident.
Yep.
If the commission wanted to preserve this. Potential for land to be utilized as a public park, that is unlikely given the topography. Retention of drainage rights, access street lines, sight lines. This again would not be the purpose of us wanting to dispose of the property. And then second priority considerations, disposition for an addition to an existing privately owned dwelling that is not in existence. Disposition for addition to an existing valid building lot as to increase the combined parcels to a lot of at least 1/2 acre if public water supply is available, or at least 1 acre if both on-site sewage and on-site sewer and water are necessary. So if he were able to combine, but there, again, must already be an existing dwelling, travelway already in use to an existing dwelling.
Include
I
that
thought
in
you
the
just said
motion.
though that unless it combined 1 acre lot that you could.
Right, and it goes on, so supplies available, or of at least 1 acre if both on-site water and sewer are necessary, where said lot is located on a street having a suitable improved travelway already in use to an existing dwelling. So the suitable improved travelway is the challenge for that portion of the disposition policy.
Right, and given the fact that he's not interested in a 1/2 acre lot,
Yeah, the big one will make it nice and done. Looks more like a,
would it be a valid building lot without that 1/2 acre lot?
You would,
I mean, would you,
frontage on a road could absolutely work as far as the minimum dimension. You can absolutely get,
this and that, with this in the middle not being his?
yeah, frankly, if you could get 100-foot square into this portion, you'd have frontage.
Depending on wetlands. too?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And slope? And
Wetlands.
slope, because it's,
Mhm. But if he wanted to construct a house there, it would absolutely fall under wetlands purview. The
Mhm.
only area suitable for any type of topography that would be conducive for development
Yeah.
is the blue parcels
Mhm.
along the river, and
And the pink would be just.
I think would just be inclusive, and his intent, again, is for better access. I feel he has that access, but if the commission feels differently, by all means.
I'd like to include that data in my motion.
It's a shame he doesn't want the bigger lot. It'd be nice, I'd round it right out.
Right, and it's just a
They
lot
come
more,
back in, who knows?
a lot more expensive for that lot, so.
We will get a second.
No, we didn't get a second yet, no. We're just still debating here. Um,
That's fine. That is fine, absolutely.
I can't second it. I don't see a big deal with it. I mean, I think it's, let him buy it if he wants to do it. As long as they can control the.
They would have to provide access to the property, which could ostensibly be made through Pasco if he got the necessary agreements and easements.
And I think he would, hopefully he would do it before he bought it, but if he doesn't, that's not.
Well, he already owns these.
Yeah, so.
And in the
so, yeah.
wetlands has the purview to approve what would be their upland area, which is 100 feet from the named watercourse of the Pomperaug River. So if construction did commence, he would have to get a valid inland wetlands permit, and they would be more than capable of handling a potential development.
It would have to be an engineered septic, and it would have to be.
Oh, absolutely. It would be
impossible.
pretty extensive,
Yeah.
the challenges with
Mhm.
respect to
I say we
development,
give him an
but
opportunity to do it.
I guess my hesitation is, we've always basically approved these.
Yeah.
And this one we seem to be second guessing on, and
And it's
I'm
our second
looking.
time around too.
I'm thinking like, you know,
Yeah.
what's our valid reason now for changing our course?
if I'm gonna be honest, Rob, I think it's our outdated disposition policy. It kind of limits us. No disrespect to the commission, I'm still new, I'm still kind of
Mhm.
getting into the role here and understanding how you guys have done things in the past. I really just have to go off the strict interpretation of the disposition policy. I personally don't see any outside, issues with respect to this unless a development went in and we'd have to make some serious considerations for,
But that would be up to the
Outside
applicant to
pollution.
meet those
Right.
absolutely.
challenging situations.
And we would hope that he's doing some of that due diligence in advance, right? So before he does it, but.
And if in the end
if
he
he's
just
not,
wants-
that's. no.
I'm hard pressed to vote against this.
Yeah, me too.
Based on that.
Understood.
I feel like, give him the chance. I mean, it's. Well, Nancy has a motion on the table to a negative referral. Is there a second? Okay, sorry, Nancy.
Somebody else has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to send a positive referral back to the Board of Selectmen.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? No, we all in favor of that? Aye?
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
Mhm.
Nancy's opposed. Abstentions? Okay, it passes. Positive referral back to the Board of Selectmen for us. Thank you. All right, number 2, members' reports. Affordable Housing Subcommittee. I guess Bob Scarlett or Bob, whoever wants to give us a quick overview, whoever.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we we had to cancel a meeting.
Okay.
However, we did have members from the Affordable Housing Coalition, as Sharon Word, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Came in and spoke to us, and Jordan was on hand at that particular meeting.
That was the one
and
we
it
were
was
all
a-
at.
a good, sorry?
That was the meeting we were all at.
Yes,
Yes.
and you were
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
And then three of us, but that was essentially it. You know, up to that point, we're scheduled for a meeting coming up. I think it's next week, I believe. But that's it. That was nothing else other than that.
Okay.
I can also add that this commission tasked me with meeting with Jordan regarding wording to potentially change the state public act.
Yes.
I have met with Jordan. There was some delay there on my end, but I have met with Jordan, and he feels that town council would like to weigh in on the exact wording of that, and I think that's what we're waiting on at this point. So I don't have any proposed wording for the commission.
We should have that at the next meeting.
That's for the verbiage from changing from senior only to multi-generational.
Correct.
Right, that would work tremendously for affordable housing then. That'd be great. Okay, cool.
Get a big piece of property back into the game.
Since we're on affordable housing, so we have to make a change at some point to that, right? Because now we did have an absence in the commission here for, Kim being off and going on Board of Finance, so we did put up Alex Gidney's right to be on the commission. The Board of Selectmen should have voted tonight on that. So then she's still the chairman of the Affordable Housing Committee, but then we'd have too many people on the subcommittee would form a quorum, so we have to have someone step back, and I think Bob has talked about, not taking the alternate position, so we need to find another lay person from the town or someone that would be interested in doing that, so maybe we'll get some help to do that. So that's just something on the committee's, just
Okay.
horizon that we're looking for that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Do you have a recommendation yet? No, or Alex maybe does?
Yeah, we'll find somebody. We should do
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll all work on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep.
we'll also have to refer
Hmm?
the demolition to a hearing.
Oh, the yes, okay, great. And then, Sharon, I'm just gonna add lib onto Bob's, affordable housing, update.
Okay.
The, group. I'm sorry, it's just the affordable the grassroots organization that Sharon runs would like to, schedule a time to meet
Oh, so
with.
you're not gonna discuss it any further?
Oh, we don't know much more than they just wanna come
That's
talk to
okay.
us.
I wanna
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah, they wanna come talk to the committee a little bit about,
Okay,
affordable
I just
housing and where it's
didn't
headed.
listen.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you for coming.
Nothing exciting anyway. Okay.
Thank you.
So they're gonna work with Jordan to get on the schedule for the subcommittees and go from there. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Good.
We did meet with them because they led us to believe they had an application imminent, and it really wasn't on the horizon. So that's where we were at with that. All right. All right. Thanks, Bob. All right. Correspondence discussion continued. First Light Solar Project 2225 River Road. This is the Eagles and everything, correct? All right. Poor Eagles. All right, so this is the correspondence we got last month, right? Okay.
Nope, that's
That's
This
the
month.
latest one.
That's the latest one?
they're both the latest.
Okay.
Yep.
And these are in the record, or do we have to read these in? This is from Joe, and this is from Lynn, okay. They're pretty vague, so we just have them left in the record from the office.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Both correspondence, one from Southbury Land Trust, from Joe Rosario, President of Southbury Land Trust, will be in the record in the town hall to be reviewed, and then that was dated 1/12/2023, then January 16, 2024.
Sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
we're all making a
1/12/2024,
I'm
sorry.
doing it on my checks.
Um,
too, I apologize.
The Audubon, Bend of the River Audubon Center, January 16, 2024, had a correspondence to the chairman of the planning commission as well, and then from Robin Ladouceur will be in the town hall land use office on record as well.
What's their number?
That one is January 16th, 2024. And that's it for that, for tonight, on that?
For that, yeah.
Okay. And this is,
Yep, the last item.
The last
before
item.
we do minute
Are we
reads.
doing anything more on discussion about the
anything you want to talk about for that? Sure.
Absolutely.
I'd like to submit this. It's from the federal. It says, hold on. There's the Bold and Golden Eagle Protection Act. It's a federal act, BGEPA, about construction prior to, so they state in this regulation, it's a state regulation, that if there is to be construction, it has to, they would prefer it to be further away. The minimum is 690 feet from any used or unused eagle nest. There has to be a count before construction and a count after construction independently, so they know the effect, so that data will go into their database also. There's database across the country, data information across the country that on how that affects not only migrating populations but also the eagles. So I'd like to pass that information on to First Light, that if they insist on when nobody's opposed to solar energy, but if they insist on constructing it right there at the Eagle, since for 38 years, the Eagle Watch site, that they have a count done by, not by them, by someone else independent, prior to construction, after construction, and that they look at moving the, perhaps, we support farming in this town, and perhaps they could move it, upgrade there onto the farm. The farmer could reap the benefit of renting that property, and you can, what is the name of it, Jordan, when you put the solar panels so they can still do agriculture underneath?
Agrivoltaics.
Agrivoltaics should be considered, yeah. And I think this should be part of the record also, the state.
I think that's wonderful.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about what you just read?
Of course.
So it said there has to be a count before and a count after and report that. So it sounds like it is just, it's after the fact. If
That's
it's
true.
right, if it's a detrimental effect, we're just recording it. We're not
True.
taking any proactive measures to prevent there from being a detrimental
That's
effect.
true, if they insist on putting it there.
Right.
They could
We're
move
hoping
it.
they do their, best to not.
Hopefully they can move it,
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't want the decimation of that, and it just winds up as a data point in a federal database. And
That's
meanwhile, we've lost the eagles or we've damaged the
Or the nesting area and
habitat.
everything.
Right.
Well, this also says, the data says that they, now in December and January is when they lay their eggs. And then there's a 35-day period for them to hatch. After that, there's a 10 to 12-week period before the fledglings can leave. So there will be no construction during that period of time.
Would you like to comment on it?
A couple of things I'm Robin from the Bench of the River, and one of the things that I would suggest is that First Light has allowed, because it is their property, they work with Connecticut Audubon, which is the other Audubon in the state, on the eagle observation, and I do think that they would be best suited for commentary about the eagles. We can comment about things like doing the monitoring around the array, etc. Where the eagles nest is actually technically across the river from the observation. So that doesn't necessarily say a lot about interactions. There is no data about interactions between eagles and solar at this point in time. This was found by our Director of Conservation, Corey Folsom O'Keefe. She looked into the literature about it. There's no data about
Countrywide
that.
or statewide?
Countrywide.
Oh, because
Yeah.
I wish I had copied it out, because I did
Yeah,
find
in terms
there was
of
data.
negative interactions with specifically eagles. So there's that, but I do think that Connecticut Audubon, and I've tried to loop them in, Ken Elkins and Joyce Lates, who is just made the executive director of Connecticut Audubon. They may be better suited to comment on the potential issues with the eagles. One of the concerns, of course, was the lake effect. And lake effect is something that's much more commonly found in the West and in deserts, as well as some agricultural fields. But the mortality of birds around solar arrays in agricultural fields was the same as the mortality of birds in fields in general. So there's not necessarily a correlation between that. So the data is fraught, and the data is also fraught by habitat, and our habitat is really different. But, you know, just yet again, wanting to amplify what Joe said in his letter in the record, we're all still learning. We're trying to embrace green technologies. Audubon is very pro-green technologies as long as they're properly cited. And there are lessons to be learned from some of our neighboring states which had solar put in. So I know that leaves it again an open question, but those are the things I can offer.
Great, thank you.
There is some data also on migratory birds, because they, on a river like that, with the solar panels, they don't know it's not water, and they correct, there is mortality.
That's the lake effect that I'm talking about.
Yes.
But that's more in the desert.
That's more in the desert, where it's a distinct, like a bunch of the observations have to do more with solar panels that are in a circle, pointed at a central location where they're boiling water actually, or.
Oh, the steam.
The
Yeah,
steam. So the thing is, it
steam
looks,
energy.
when the birds are coming in, they see this thing, it looks like a body of water, and there is no water at all. In this case, it's very green, there's the water next to it, the solar panels are down by the substation, it's small, honest, we don't know, but,
Yeah, there's very little data.
but the thing
Yeah.
is that, it's a small pilot project. To be honest with you, what you said about moving up, we're more against that, because it starts to affect things like farmland soils. Yes, there are agrivoltaics, but you'd have to cut down more and do other things if you moved it out of that area, which is there's nothing down there. There's no planting. Right down by the
It's been
substation.
clear cut. I was surprised to look at the
Yeah, it's clear
aerials.
cut
When
next
did
to the
that
dam.
happen?
So the thing is, a small acre right next to the electrical substation, which is already a mess, so, and that's been there forever since the dam was built.
Joe,
So-
if you don't
When
mind
was
just
it clear
quickly
cut?
stating your name and address.
Oh, I apologize,
No
Joe
problem.
Ruggiero, Southbury Land Trust,
That'll do.
work address or?
No, that's cool.
That's more than
Okay.
enough. Thank you so much.
Again, I think we're learning, and so that we're gonna find out, and I think, I don't know where the nest is, I mean, it's on the other side of the river, but that's
Nests
more
are
than 600
typically
feet
over.
away, I think it's more than 600 feet
Yeah.
away.
I mean,
which-
I don't know where they're
you know,
all, because they're
600 feet's like half a mile,
oftentimes
right?
30, you can see 30
5,000,
eagles.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're
Oh.
typically
No,
gonna
it's
be
5,000.
in the
Oh, right,
taller
right, right.
pines that are
Yeah, it's
across
further
the
upriver on the
Quarter mile
Newtown
then,
side. I don't
must
think
be
it's,
that.
I think it's more than 600 feet away, unfortunately, or depending on how you look at it.
Yeah,
Um,
it even says nests that are not being used. I mean, I don't see why they would object to, if they're going forward with this, which sounds like the
Yeah.
siting council is powerful,
Right.
that they wait until the fledglings are gone, according to the state.
Yeah, I think we're,
Recommendation.
if they try this, and I think that at least they're keeping it to a very small location, to see what the effect is, and if the monitoring starts to say it's doing something detrimental, we're gonna learn something.
So that would be monitoring
Post,
during?
post,
After?
yeah, during and after.
Post-installation.
And there has been indication of a potential future project following this.
That worries me more.
There has been discussion
That's what
regarding this.
That
Which
will
is
be
fair.
little-
So to that point, while we're all getting this discussion started and getting these necessary entities into the fold before the commission, who's gonna have to have their finger on the pulse of this moving forward, if this project did proceed, at least we would have
Right.
a use case for that area, for that environment, for solar on that ridge line, and we can at least get data, so long as we do what we're doing here right now, doing our due diligence, reaching out to the necessary entities, including Connecticut Audubon, to hopefully give us some data, and we would have a really strong point to start off of and move forward from there and be able to adapt or readjust or really pivot in any capacity. Or rather, First Light,
Right.
whatever they choose to do, frankly, it's not us, but.
I suspected that it was like the initial project of a larger.
Can't hear you what?
I suspected that it was just, it's described as a pilot, and so, yeah, one would assume that there's going to be an expansion.
Right.
Yeah.
They have another 5 acres up the hill there that's already clear cut,
Mhm.
or thereabouts. Doesn't seem unfathomable
Right.
that they're gonna go up the hill.
Nope. Nope,
It doesn't.
fair.
Cutting trees, it might get more expensive and be even more detrimental, and into the farmland would be detrimental.
Right.
I'd like to research when they got
And
the
then there's the
permit to do all
chemical.
that clear cutting, because that's
So it's been there
substantial.
like that for a long time, a long time. I mean, I apologize if I'm taking too much of your time, but,
You're
you
fine.
know, that's the portage around the dam, so if you're a kayaker, that's been like that for a really long time, that clear cut area.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Anybody else, anything on it? Okay.
Just recommend everybody goes down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Takes a look.
that's right.
It's
There's like
beautiful.
4 copies.
Yeah,
Awesome.
there's gonna be a viewing on the 10th on Saturday with an
And you can have your own viewing if you email them and make an
Thank you.
appointment too.
We'll get it all electronically too.
You all right?
All right, let's see here. Meeting minutes, December the 12th, 2020. Oh, sorry, memo of the planning commission. 1570 Southford Road.
I have too much paper,
Minor site plan mod.
please.
I'll make this brief. The planning commission approved the Cornerstone Assembly of God Church to be located and go into the old Liberty Bank at 1570 Southford Road. They've recently,
Thank you.
take care, folks, thank you.
Thank you.
They've
Thank you.
recently got approval from the
Good night.
building department and fire marshal to commence interior renovations. There are no exterior renovations aside from the new white color that's along the building. They are looking for administrative approval to change what was a wall into a window. This will be in the back portion of the site. I figured a site plan modification was not the avenue to drag the client or the applicant through, so I figured a correspondence and a memo to this commission requesting that this be a simple administrative zoning sign-off.
Jordan and I talked about it, we thought it was easier than do it. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Bob?
It's amazing that we have to go through that just to put a window in.
I know. That's why I figured it was just as easy to.
I love the site plan
Yeah.
mods.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Let there be light.
Do we have to give you a vote on it? We should, right?
By all means, yeah,
Okay,
thank
I'll
you.
make a motion to approve that.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That's all set. Jordan passed. Thank you. Let's see, meeting minutes, December the 12th, 2023. I don't have them in front of me, but Deb has them in there.
Would you like to review?
Yeah, I just want to see who was here and who wasn't here. Johnson was Ron and Jason and Kim McNeil, so we can all vote here. Anyone have any changes or any additions to the December the 12th, 2023 minutes?
Motion to
No.
approve is presented.
Yep.
All right, I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of approving minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Minutes are approved, thank you.
Who make a second?
Who seconded that one? Rich?
Any other business that may properly before the commission? Anything from anybody?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Do we have a COG representative now?
Not yet, we don't know, we have to get some.
Council of
No.
Governments representative from Southbury.
Because Kim.
Because Kim is gone, so
Yeah.
we need one.
So we're in need of, and I have to talk to Bob's, Scarlett's wife, we need a alternate to fill in for Jason, right? We're gonna move Jason up to the full member. If I can remember, that's how we're doing it, so we need, because hopefully Alex got approved to take Kim's spot, so then we'll still need another alternate for that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so we have to, if anybody knows anybody, we're in need of 2 more people.
Let's get Don back.
I talked to him last week, I said, dude, what are you up to? He goes, no. It's car time, I'm like, okay.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He's
like-
working on a
he goes-
Cobra right now.
Yeah, he goes, stop over, you gotta see this thing. I'm like, yeah, all right.
What is it now?
The car projects, he's
Yeah.
incredible.
You know what it is?
The last
Jeff,
one.
Jeff, I mean, I've never met Don.
It's-
I've heard some pretty amazing stories.
The
but
last car ended up on the cover of Hemmings magazine, which is
Yeah.
absolutely
Was it
stunning.
really?
It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Right now, he's working on a Cobra.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, vintage Shelby
Rare.
Cobra.
yeah.
That's really cool.
So I guess that's pretty much it for other business that we're working on. So if anybody has anybody let us
So
know.
we need
Okay.
two full
Two
members or
people.
alternate?
Oh, 2 alternate members.
Two alternates.
Okay.
Oh, right, Jason and Tim.
Yep.
And if we don't get a recommendation, we have to go to the two town committees, right?
I'm gonna go right to him right away.
Oh, okay.
We might as well. I mean, I think it's Michael Carrington, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him and then to Bob's wife.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
just Sharon, and then we'll try to get, because I'm gonna need more help, we can get, spread the word a little faster.
Do you want me to text Michael?
Yeah, that would be great, you know, because on top of it, I think the Strategic Planning Commission's looking for 4 people.
Really?
They're down to practically nobody right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so.
There's
we
other
need-
commissions, there's a lot of openings in town
Yeah,
right
so
now.
we need them before they can get to it, so.
Volunteers.
And I can mention it to Sharon.
Yes, please. I was gonna call her anyway, but yes, please. That would be great. I guess a motion to adjourn.
So much. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Can we get